Do you think?
Hello, and welcome to Bounty into Comics. My name is John Trent. I'm the founder and editor-in-chief at Bounty into Comics. I'm joined by my associate editor, Spencer Baculi, my co-host, Drew Taylor, and Donald Edmonds. How are you guys doing tonight?
Pretty good. How about you guys?
Figuring out that half this panel is into BDSM. That's
work. It's all about the work.
I just want to be beat up, Don. I don't know if it's a BDSM.
So we're going to talk about some WandaVision episode 5. What is the title called? On a Very Special Episode is the title of episode 5. A lot of stuff happened. We kind of got a reversal back to the sitcom that we saw in the first, second, and third episodes. And they did a little bit of back and forth between the sitcom and the real world or the Marvel real world.
Outside, yeah.
Yeah, so let's just get some initial reactions. We'll start with you, Spencer. What do you think?
I actually really liked this episode. It finally delivered on plot. There was a lot of good. I don't know if I would say creepy is the right word because John gave me the right word the last time, but just there are a lot of good scenes where the tension is really high because there's like scary things going on, whether it's Wanda or you're just kind of confused by what's going on. I thought it was great, and of course, there's a certain surprise that was pretty fantastic to see.
Yeah, man, I was sitting there like kind of like, okay, this show kind of took a nice leap in this episode for me because it's been kind of like this slow boil, and it was kind of peculiar. People didn't know what to make of it really, and now you're starting to get kind of into the real like sort of darkness and just the the meat of things, I guess. But
that's a good way to put it.
But yeah, I mean, we're really starting to get into it, and yeah, I thought the episode was pretty darn good.
Yeah, things are starting to escalate. We're starting to get a sense of there are stakes.
Like something's actually going on. Yeah,
missing for much of the first episodes. Like, I know that's our big complaint, that there weren't enough stakes. We didn't realize what was being.
Well,
they were too focused on the sitcom parody element in the first couple episodes, and I feel like they almost kind of forgot that they needed to put a little bit more exposition and teasing in there.
It was a very slow percolation, and now, like I said, you're going full bore into the darker elements and some of the horror elements and some of the just really cool stuff, and you're like, okay, we're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. It's nice.
Surprised there's no reference to that yet.
There's references to everything else.
Right?
Lots of references. I think a lot of the references, I still think that a lot of the references go over people's heads. I think you, especially with the cameo, I think a lot of people probably are like, what's going on here? Or they probably forgot what happened in Age of Ultron. They haven't watched the X-Men films. So I think there's you have that issue. I thought the episode was okay. I didn't think it was excellent or even like really good. I still like the whole first half of the episode with like the comedy still like didn't hit for me. The laugh track was.
I thought these jokes worked better than the last ones.
No, it didn't. It wasn't funny to me at all.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't funny, but I know what they were parodying, and they felt exactly like that 80s, 90s like horror, especially the whole scene where Agnes was doing the absurd, like rocking the two kids and trying to like spray them with perfume. That's such an 80s, like 90s gag that I was like, oh, that's neat. I get it. It works.
Yeah, but the thing that happened before that made that feel so awkward. Like,
I think that's the point.
Yeah, that's exactly what they were going for.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I don't think it's cringe. I think that's the entire point of that.
I don't think the comedy was supposed to be funny either. I mean, it was supposed to be a whole very disturbing vibe, and that was something that I thought they pulled off with the disturbing awkwardness and like the comedy sprinkled in there. It was deliberately not supposed to be funny.
I
think what really makes it. I'm going to disagree because I think the laugh track. The laugh track was just so annoying.
But that's not
hold on. Let me finish. I think that if they didn't have the laugh track, I think I would agree with you that it would feel alienating, as the Sentinel says in the chat. It would feel more like you would feel that more like creepy, like strange vibe. But the laugh track, I don't know. The laugh track doesn't. The laugh track takes that away from it for me.
Well, for me, it enhanced it.
See, for me, the laugh track is just there because it's what was part of those sitcoms in the 80s and 90s. And yeah, like Drew, to me, it enhances it because the entire time you have Agnes and this weird situation going on, you have it juxtaposed with this very obvious laugh track, which everybody knows is supposed to like signal, laugh now, laugh now. So it's this very uncomfortable, juxtaposition of everything is crumbling. Wanda's getting a little more on edge, and Agnes is kind of seeing through everything, and Vision is too, but they're still trying to go along. Like Wanda's still trying to keep it all good. She's still trying to keep it going, even though everything is clearly pushing against her. I mean, you see it in the very end too, when the end credits for the episode, like the sitcom episode, start rolling, and she's still arguing with Vision. Yeah. Like you still have the same music going, the same old like, it's the end of the episode, and then you have
you also get the thing. You get the music for Pietro.
Yeah,
opens the door as well.
Hail to
which the episode had ended, right? The credits were rolling, and then it like kept going though, and then you still get the sitcom music.
Oh yeah,
no, because what?
Yes,
I don't remember that.
Yeah,
what?
you just said it
with Pietro at the end.
You said the sitcom credits.
I'm talking not at the very end. I'm talking about when it's with just Vision and Wanda arguing. No Pietro.
The sitcom credits ended, and then they sit on the couch, and then they both fly up, and then the doorbell rings.
Yeah.
And then you get the sound where it's like ta-da, and then you see him.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone applauds.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. That to me, it all made it work. I think it all worked.
The sitcom ended though. Yeah. Credits rolled. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the sitcom, Wanda's episode ended, but it was, the world didn't just end. Like, the world still continues going. Yeah. So that's just what we were seeing was a off-camera moment.
Yeah.
She didn't know that was coming.
But I just wanted to say hail to the Sentinel, hail to Mikhail, Emperor of Corruption, aka formerly Lopter, the Demon King.
Oh, hey, Lopter!
Great to see.
Can't fool me.
Great to see Tehillim,
nice
29. All the gangs all here in chat. Father Christopher Miller,
Father
here. So hail to everybody, and also, God. Deviant Porky, I love you, man. You hit it right on the head when you said that the laugh track was meant to be unsettling, and that is exactly what I think it was.
I'm with you too on that.
It enhanced it.
I think that's an opinion.
It's subjective. Of course.
Yeah, I definitely think so, and obviously Don and I disagree. So yeah, I mean, and that's what we're here talking about. We can disagree. But yeah, so I don't know. That was like the laugh track really just kind of grated on me. I thought it was annoying. I really just sort of just turned it off. It just really kind of took me out of the show.
Honestly, I don't think you like 80s sitcoms.
Yeah, I think you have a bigger problem with that than you do with the show, because you're always complaining about the laugh tracks and the subtle sitcom elements, and that's kind of what this show is centered on right now.
Yeah, see, I'm
I don't think it'll ever catch you if you don't like any of those elements.
I think in the last live stream you were you didn't like Family Ties or
I'm never watching that stuff.
See, you never watched them. Yeah.
I'm old school.
There's a lot of people that have never watched it. There's a lot of people that haven't. So
I know all that stuff from growing up on that.
Same.
So yeah, I mean, I'm down with it.
Full House, Partridge Family, all those kind of shows.
I talk about watching sitcoms all the time. I mean, that's a lot of the stuff that I watch, like that 70s show, Roseanne, Everybody Loves Raymond, King of Queens, all that stuff. Like I find that stuff hilarious.
Yeah, but dude,
see, that's what's I guess that's what I don't get personally is like you do watch it and you do enjoy those elements, but then when it comes to this show where they're very clearly using those elements, like they're playing on those elements, like wink, wink, nudge, nudging, like this is what sitcoms do. All of a sudden, once it becomes meta, you don't like it.
It's not funny, and I don't think
it's genuinely trying to be funny. It is meta because that's not the show itself is not a sitcom. Wanda is creating a fake sitcom out of things she knows and has been influenced by. So when you see things like overbearing laugh tracks and bad gags, that's her incorporating these elements that she's seen before. So yeah, they are very over the top, but that's because that's her interpretation of how all these things work together.
If anything, now, man, this show
disagree with you based on what the show has shown us. But
well, if anything, as a whole, man, now the show's like creeping into like Creep Show, like an episode of Creep Show territory, because it's getting like more it's getting more horror, which hey, I like because I'm a horror fan.
Yeah, same. I love it.
But oh man, I'm digging it because it's getting very like disturbing, unsettling, and that is like grade A awesome for me.
Barry on asks, how does Wanda even know about 80s sitcoms? Is she also she might have watched reruns?
Yeah. My theory is that when she was in my theory is
89.
Yeah, my theory is that because she grew up in an Eastern Bloc country in Sokovia, she had very limited access to anything outside of the West, just like a lot of the Eastern European immigrants I knew growing up. So to me, the idea that she only got reruns of these really old shows of like 50s, 70s sitcoms makes sense to me. I mean, we don't know yet. They haven't said anything, but that's my theory.
Well,
Don, what do you got something on? You're pondering something. What are you thinking?
My thinking is she creates this world, but we don't have any expository of why she created just the specifics of.
But it's coming.
Like,
hold on.
I mean, yeah.
Hold on. Let him.
They had 2 episodes of expositorial already. They could have fit in like, oh, I liked these shows when I was a kid, so I wanted to create this kind of reality for me and Vision to live in. That's it. That's like 2 lines. But here's out of a 20-minute episode.
Who is Wanda going to tell that to?
Yeah.
So
there's nobody logically for Wanda to tell that to.
So when she's actually talking to Vision there at the end, she says she doesn't know why she's even there. She doesn't understand what's going on, and it seems to me that she's just becoming aware that this is some kind of world. Like at least maybe that's the lie she was telling. Maybe she's lying to Vision when she's saying that. But it's also just like maybe Wanda isn't even really in control of what's going on.
That's what I think. I think it's definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to touch on the spoilers that are potentially to come.
This is a spoiler show.
Cool. We'll go spoilers then.
Yeah.
My belief this entire time has been that, I always thought that this was somebody manipulating Wanda to create this for whatever reason. Episodes have gone on. It starts seeming more and more like Wanda did this herself voluntarily. This episode, we kind of see her that weird revelation where she's like, I don't know what's happening. I didn't do this. To me, that signals that Mephisto, who is the highly rumored villain for this series, has
pretty much confirmed by a toy.
Right. Oh yeah, that's right, the toy. I totally forgot.
Packaging.
I can't even believe they still make mini-mates, like I said in our work chat. But so I think it's like Mephisto is manipulating her for some reason. I don't know what, and I couldn't even begin to guess. But I think it's almost very similar to like what's happening with Vision, where she was like dropped into this. Like I almost want to imagine that she kind of just like woke up one day in Westview and knew what she was supposed to do, but never really, like if she sat down to think about it, she'd be like, why did I come here? Why is this happening?
Well, she also doesn't. So she also, I will argue that she also, like you, she also doesn't have full control over what's going on. She obviously can has significant control over certain things. We saw that in the first episode where she tells Vision to save the guy. We've seen it multiple instances where she rewinds with the beekeeper and stuff like that. She's able to like edit out the scenes, but like she's not able to put her kids to sleep. She's not able to control the kids. The kids have hold on, Don. She's not able to control her kids. Yeah, I know. And then obviously she says she doesn't have any control over the doorbell at the end as well. So we have multiple instances of her not actually in control of what's happening. And then you also see the incursions from S.H.I.E.L.D., even with Geraldine. She does it like when people are coming in, she's not fully aware of like what's happening inside. What are they calling it? The hex now?
The hex
now, so we know that as well. So she's not completely in control of everyone. But yeah, Don, what were you going to say?
Okay, the reason she doesn't have control over the kids is because you remember in X-Men, the animated series, the episode where the X-Men cross over with the X Factor, and you have Cyclops blasting at Havoc and Havoc blasting at Cyclops, and it doesn't work on either of them.
Because mutant relation powers? I don't know if it's that so much as it is Mephisto.
I think her powers don't work on her kids because her kids are related. And it's a mutant thing. They're retconning her to be a mutant.
But we've seen a lot of other mutants fight each other with their powers before who are related. Like we've seen Scarlet Witch and Pietro fight. We've seen Magneto fight against them, like those two as well. We've seen Daken fight Wolverine.
Polaris and Scarlet Witch.
Who? Yeah, Polaris and Scarlet Witch. Yeah, like. That's not a mutant ability. That was specifically like a Summers brother thing. Because even what's his name, Adam X has the same thing, or he did when they thought he was still going to be a Summers brother.
I think this is also important to bring up too. That like so. I don't think this is the Luke Skywalker level reveal, but I think this is important too. Like a lot of people haven't watched the X-Men stuff. Father Christopher Miller is saying here, guess it would have been more impactful if I've seen the newer X-Men movies. Haven't seen any since X-Men 3. So like people so you don't have that frame of reference. So I will say so when I watch this show, I'm watching it with my little sister who's a diehard Marvel Cinematic Universe fan, and my dad who knows nothing. Like he goes to the movies whenever my sister wants to go, and that's about as far as his knowledge goes. He recently went back and watched Age of Ultron the other week because he's like, I'm not really that familiar with these characters. I gotta refresh my memory. That appearance of Quicksilver was still impactful to him because he still recognized that character was dead. But yes, there's another meta level to it if you had seen the other X-Men films. I think they should have included that. Honestly, they should have included like the Quicksilver scene in like the recap, and then even show like Ultron killing.
But I feel like if you'd have shown Quicksilver in the recap, it would have been pretty obvious what was coming.
Yeah, it's kind of like showing Don Cheadle and then the other guy that was Rhodey before.
Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard.
They could have even done it as kind of like a stinger scene at the end or something, just to like be like, okay, this is like just.
I bet you will do it next episode. I bet you Jimmy Woo and Monica and stuff. Yeah. When you go back to them for the exposition information, they'll be like, well, this was her brother, and the last time we saw him when he got gunned down in Sokovia, and then they'll show another picture of.
I kind of don't want that.
You what?
I don't want that. I want Pietro to have completely different memories of when he was with one.
No. They're not saying. John and I aren't saying that. We're saying
we're talking about that Pietro died in a just explaining he died. So like there's the scene.
We're trying to explain
the scene in this episode where they were basically recounting Wanda's history. That's what Spencer is talking about, like just a scene about Pietro's history.
Yeah,
I think that's a contract thing, though. If they show him, they gotta pay him out or something.
Yeah,
I
feel like that's already their footage, though.
Yeah, you just use the old footage from Ultron.
Yeah, they don't film anything new.
Yeah, well, the thing is though, I really like the. Going in the direction with Evan Peters, I thought that was a genius opening up the door to, pull the X-verse in.
I love the little way they put it, where Darcy says he got recast. I thought that was a little
It's a
clever
very
thing.
funny thing.
Yeah, that was clever. I did like that.
We were all
that was definitely
speculating
a nod
how
for
that
that.
could happen.
Yeah, we were.
So I will say, like, as much as I didn't like I'm going to go back to the comedy here. As much as I didn't like the comedy at the end, I loved when he said, "Here's the
Here's the
popsicle."
popsicle.
I thought that was hilarious.
Well, it's just
Popsicle.
it's just so like that's why I always liked in the other movies I liked Evan Peters' version of Quicksilver a lot better because he was a jokester, he had a personality. I never
blame
really,
Joss Whedon.
I never really liked the other Pietro in the MCU movies because it was just he didn't really
I mean, he was in one movie and he didn't do anything.
Yeah, that's writing. That's
Whedon.
Yeah.
That's Whedon.
Yeah.
And at least Evan Peters Pietro, he's interesting as Quicksilver. I do like him.
He's in like basically the greatest comic book, one of the great top 5 comic book scenes ever
of all time.
He's breaking out Magneto in Days of Future Past. So
like pushes people and flips their hat. Love that scene.
Yeah, I know. And there's just like that little level of silliness to him, and he has like that kind of a jokester personality.
It's a facade, though. Like I always thought that was like a facade that he puts on.
Because you kind of always can tell that he's got, like, for lack of a better term, like daddy issues. Like he's very vulnerable in that sense, and that's like when John on that one.
When his mom comes down to like the basement and he's obviously like searching his like Magneto or whatever, and then he's like pretending that he's like playing a video game when
like
she comes
whatever
down.
Yeah,
he's like like blah blah blah, and it's like, dude, he's like actually
I'm
like
so cool.
It's like, serious stuff.
Yeah, right.
So
layers to you.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
which is good writing.
Yeah, I'm just saying, to me, he's a better version of Quicksilver, and and like I said, this was a good bridge to bring in, because I always,
if he is Quicksilver,
he is Quicksilver,
right?
Yeah.
Because remember the like what did we get last week? We got Monica saying it's Wanda, and now we're getting like, so everyone is like, oh, Wanda's the real bad guy, and there's some things that are like, okay, that's evidence to that, and then you get other things that are like, well, maybe not, because she's not really controlling everything,
right?
And maybe something else is going on. And then obviously Monica Rambeau is not buying into all of it, even though she's the one who said it. She's also not buying it. So so like, as much as I didn't like the comedy in the beginning, I really like the mystery, and I really like the deception that's kind of going on, and like we still really don't know what's going on, and like I like that. I'm kind of hooked on to that still. So I am like still kind of bought in, if that's the case.
Right.
But
dude, especially one of the better like disturbing scenes in the whole thing was when they were at Vision's work, and he had that interaction with Norm, whatever.
With Norm, yeah.
And just for a second, like Norm snapped out of it, and he
Vision did something though. Like remember he taps the computer, he gets the email from Sword, which is like basically saying Wanda's the problem, which we never saw Sword send that email, right? Or like I don't remember that email being sent. So who sent that email? Why is that email there? Is it actually from Sword?
I kind of assumed it was an email Sword sent out that somehow got redirected by accident in the ether, and it landed on their computer as well.
Well, we know that how did it CMDR or whatever, something like that.
The cosmic background radiation.
Right. And we know that you can send signals into, because like that's how they did the radio signal. So it's possible that they get they're now like since they've moved to the 80s, there's now internet, and then the town is like picking up internet now or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Through the reality warping. But yeah, and then he does the same thing that he does to the computer to Norm, and like Vision's able to like knock him out, which means he's able to like if it is Wanda, he's able to counteract whatever Wanda's doing.
He said something about that, like he could like short circuit their memories, or he said something quick about it, but it didn't make any sense for me.
Yeah, but man, just the way and props to that actor that played Norman. The guy was just like, because he bought into it. The guy was traumatized, and it was like, and he played it so well, and Vision was like, holy shit, he was pretty freaked out. Because when Norm like snapped out of it and freaked out, like where am I? What's going on? Where's my phone? The whole thing.
He's worried about his family.
Yeah,
he doesn't say exactly who is the one doing it to him. He just says.
Well, no, he did. He said she.
No, she. He just uses a pronoun. He doesn't say exactly who it is.
I was making the assumption watching it that he meant Wanda.
Also, I think that's what they want you to believe. But remember, we have Agnes there. She also is not being affected by Wanda, as proven in that scene with the laugh tracks that we were talking about earlier. She literally stops and says, like, "Do you want me to redo this? Like, this isn't how it's supposed to go."
Oh yeah, because usually Wanda resets it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was so creepy. That was so weird.
So it's like, and that goes back to that scene in episode 3 where Agnes and Herb are obviously aware of what's going on and talking to Vision, but not actually telling him. So one has to wonder what role she is playing in this, and it appears that she's also kind of immune to whatever's happening with Wanda, and she always is showing up with stuff to help whatever's going on with this account.
Like the doghouse or the ingredients. Yeah.
I thought that was funny. I did find that funny where like, oh, she conveniently showed up with what we need.
What we needed. Yeah.
I thought that was funny. But and then the like the computer joke with Vision and Norm was kind of funny. But yeah, so let's kind of start from the beginning. So we get like it's they're in the house, I believe. Well, we get the recap, and then they're in the house with the kids trying to deal with like the whining children.
What you're dealing with, pretty much.
Yeah, but I thought I did find the the binkies aren't supposed to be noise canceling devices. I thought that was cool. But yeah, so then there's that. They can't figure out how to do that. She shows up with like, oh, I'll figure it out, and then she makes some like alcohol references, and she's doing some like jazzercise, and then you get the creepy part where she's like, I'm in a sitcom. Do you want me to redo this part? Because this isn't really how it's scripted out.
Yeah.
You want me to take it again?
Yeah, take it again.
And take it again from the top.
Wanda just kind of like completely overlooks it, where Vision is like, what is going on? And then the kid, they go over back to the kids. The kids are gone. They're on the steps and they're 5 years old already. And Agnes is now sitting like laid out on the bar drinking whatever alcohol she was looking for.
The dark liquor.
Yeah, whatever she was looking for.
She says a weird line too. Like,
yeah,
kids, you can't control them.
Yeah, you can't control them.
Right. So like that's all to me. That's just like she's definitely in on whatever's happening. Because like Vision's like, because Wanda's like, oh, she didn't seem fazed when they like became 5-year-olds right in front of her. So
I think it's definitely something more like she's definitely in on it, but I don't know if she knows what's going on so much as it's like, I'm terrified, so I'm just going to play along because otherwise something's going to happen to me. Like, I just want to get out of here alive.
I'm also like, see that one trailer where she's like, haha, you're dead. Ha ha ha. Like to me, it means like
I don't trust the trailers. I don't.
Well, obviously you can't trust the trailer, but to me that's just like she's in on it.
What I forget, what era was she in when she said that line in the trailer?
It was like the second major trailer. I feel like
I can't remember that line, but I feel like she was like doing that kind of like oh, you're dead, like a very flippant thing that they put into the trailer to emphasize some mystery.
But then she had that like
gasps.
super evil laugh though, which was
She
fantastic.
gasps and says, "Am I dead?" And then he says, "No, why would you think that? Because you are."
Yeah. Don's like, that's not funny. So then there's that happens. And then we get a dog, right? The kids are in the kitchen.
Sparky.
Or who knows what is, he's got two names, right?
Yeah.
What's the first name? They both start with S.
Well, Sparky was the one.
Sparky was the
where
real
he
one, or
finally
that he
gets it. And I think that's a reference to the Vision comic as well.
Sparky's the one that
I think
he
you're
gets
right,
the name
John.
after he bites the
The electrical
cord.
I'll admit, I legitimately thought that dog was about to die right there. I thought he was gonna. Yeah, dude, I thought he was gonna like lick the socket and then like zap, and then they were gonna do more sitcom humor, like, oh no, and I was gonna be like, dude, oh my god.
But yeah, so the dog's like in the bathtub that the kids have found. Deviant Pork says Sparky is the name of the robotic dog in Tom King's Vision. So there you go.
When the last
I forget what
thing Tom King ever did.
I forgot what the I can't remember what the dog's first name, what they were originally calling it before they called it Sparky.
Sparky. Dang, I can't remember either. Hopefully somebody in the chat will let us know, but
yeah, and then you get they age up to 10, right? Because they're like, oh, we can't take care of the dogs until we're 10. And then they're like, shh, age up right away.
Yeah.
Right in front of Agnes. And then you get the whole thing with Wanda using her
to make the collar.
Her magic to make the collar. And Vision's like, what? How could you?
Like,
she's right there.
Right. So you get that. And then I think then you go to the Norm. I think it cuts to Norm. Vision goes to work.
Yeah, because he's like, I got to get, he needs a break from everything because he doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And I think in between that, we also get the exposition with
we go back outside the sword.
Yeah, so we go back outside the sword. They basically recap Wanda's history. The guy who's the head of sword, basically thinks Wanda's like a piece of garbage.
Now,
that's what I got.
Yeah.
Someone was saying that the break-in that that Wanda
from
has,
sword.
That was actually footage that was taken out of Endgame.
The one where she's coming out of the bubble?
No, where she's taking
where
Vision's body.
She invades sword.
That's
gets his corpse, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Someone was saying that was actually deleted footage or not used footage. Would have been nice to have in game. Would have been a nice setup, but okay, that's cool.
I think if you included that in Endgame, it would have just dragged everything out more than it already did. Like, where do you throw that in?
The teaser scene, like an end credit scene, I guess, right?
Yeah, the stinger.
But then it's do you also include one for Falcon and Winter Soldier too? Because that's technically the next.
Yes.
I think it's fine to just end it right there. I like how it showed up this time.
So Sword, which is this parent organization that no one's ever heard of, has the Vision's body, which was founded in the 90s, and we're supposed to just be like, yep, they've been around. Like,
I know. They're the shadows.
Yeah, they're what is it from Transformers? Sector 7.
Oh gosh, yeah.
We don't exist.
Oh, gosh.
That's what I feel like Sword is. Or they're Sector 7.
They keep saying that line, that Sector 7, like nobody's heard of us line, throughout like every Transformers film, even though like you have the robots blowing up major cities. Like, it's so ridiculous.
Yeah, and taking them over, and literally like trying to bring
right
into Earth. Yeah. But yeah, so Sword has Vision's body, which I don't know why, because there's like a space organization.
I think because remember in the episode before, he was talking about developing AI. They wanted to create some AI based off of, most advanced AI that they have, which is freaking.
So
Thank you.
Deviant Porg is saying that the director is a white guy and he has hexagons in his office. He's definitely lying. I think the fact that he was trying to kill Scarlet Witch is indicative of like he's a bad guy.
Having said that, I'm
missile.
kind of on his side in terms of that. Like, yeah, she is a dangerous individual.
I don't know. I feel like he's jumping the gun. Like, obviously
John,
she's dangerous, but she's literally was an Avenger.
Yeah, she was an Avenger.
But I mean, so like we still like, I feel like we don't know what's happened in like the political realm with like after Endgame. Like literally the Avengers were like reassembled, right? Like the Sokovia Accords kind of went away because the heroes were fighting Thanos who invaded Earth. So I don't know. I feel like we're missing a lot on what's going on there.
But,
so we don't really know like what's going on with these government organizations.
Wanda is still a nuclear weapon.
Well,
a weapon gone loose is always a bad thing.
Yeah, what was interesting is they were talking about like how she never actually like manifested these kind of powers before, but then Jimmy Woo was like, well, she basically would have defeated Thanos if he didn't start bringing down missiles or whatever.
That exposition was like,
and then you got the cringe like, well, Captain Marvel would have done it too, and it's like, okay.
Well, that was cringe, but I did like how Monica kind of just was like, I don't care. Like, she clearly is pissed off at Captain Marvel for something. So she was like, we're not talking about her. And we just moved on. And I was like, thank God.
I liked that she was like, I'm Captain Marvel. Like, that person's not. That's how I took it. She's like, I'm Captain Marvel.
That would be cool.
Because, I mean, in the comics, she
is.
Or maybe Marvel is putting their writing crew to the I don't know, putting thumbs on him, saying, yeah, Brie Larson kind of sucks. Maybe we should just make her as a sucky character.
I wish. But we know she's getting another one.
Yeah, she's going to show up in Miss Marvel for sure. That's
as an asshole now.
She already cameoed in WandaVision.
Well, yeah, with the voiceover.
Yeah, the voice
that they used.
The Jedi are in all of you.
So after that, I actually liked that. I mean, you obviously see you got Jimmy, Darcy, and Monica versus like the sword director. That's very apparent. And the sword, I mean, yeah, I didn't notice that he had hexagons in his office.
I didn't notice that.
Go back and look at that.
Yeah,
but
I gotta check that out too.
But that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, they're definitely making him out to be looks like to be a bad guy, especially because he's making rash decisions.
Like really, and like lying to his team and stuff.
Yeah, he's lying to the people who are like figuring everything out. He's lying to like the person who would have been the director if she hadn't blipped. So there's that too. And who actually was the only person who's actually interacted with Wanda within the Hex
sword, inside the bubble.
Which one good thing is Darcy was limited, so that was a good thing. I think didn't get a lot of her. And she did have the good lines, like she recast Pietro.
Yeah, that was such a good line. And I always like Jimmy Woo. He's just such an innocent character.
Yeah. He brings
Holy
levity.
Christmas, yeah.
He brings levity to the scene too.
But it's such an earnest levity, and not like a quip Joss Whedon levity. Like it's so just normal.
He's like what you wish the FBI really was.
Dude, right? Yeah.
he's fighting the good fight, and
he really is.
Whereas like the other guy's like another like corrupt.
He's just another suit. Yeah.
Government bureaucrat. Government scumbag.
Toxic cis white male.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, Deviant Pork says it's on the wall, his diplomas, and on the carpet. So it's kind of everywhere.
Diplomas, get out of here! This is America, Steve.
The actor makes it really likable. I'm assuming you're talking about Jimmy Woo making him likable. Yeah, I totally agree.
Oh yeah, Grandpa's great.
Yeah. Spencer's description of him being earnest is on point. It's a great description. So then we go back to we get the Norm scene, I think, right? The Norm scene.
Question
at the office.
Yeah.
You guys probably picked up on this. I didn't. She goes to her previous wardrobe, and she pulls out a gun and shoots it.
Yes, right.
Why? Why the hell was that?
She was doing that to test whether the whatever she brought in was reality, was warped.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
what she realized was that they were like, nothing's ever come out, and she's like, yes, something has. So she took her thing, they went to her clothes, and then I think they looked at the computer, or she looked at the computer first, or did she just start firing? Because I know that the thing was up on the computer.
She takes Jimmy Woo's
pistol and just starts shooting, and then she's like, yeah, this is made of Kevlar. This is not real.
Any federal agent will tell you,
don't do possible. That. Yeah.
Well, it would be a lot harder for her to do that if he was actually like securing his pistol properly.
Yeah. And you know what? And that's that. You know what? For all I love Jimmy Woo, I think I could see him being one of the agents who doesn't secure his pistol all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, we saw last episode that the rope that they were using was transformed into like the bright light jump rope or whatever. I feel like, and then this time they were showing that her clothes were Kevlar, which I didn't understand why the bullets were on the ground. They should have still probably been embedded in the clothes.
I think it's because she said it was like 98% Kevlar, so it was just like super strong.
So but yeah, they still wouldn't like deflect it. It would still be like
it didn't deflect. It hit it and then it dropped because it couldn't embed in anything. That's how thick and strong it was.
Okay.
80% Kevlar and then 20% vibranium. Come on.
No, that was something else. That was for their transport into the hex. The clothes were specifically just Kevlar.
Yeah.
Okay. So then they decide to send in some like old school drone, which it didn't look. I didn't understand.
To me.
So, I didn't get that.
Yeah,
so we need to send something in from the time that she's currently in.
So what they mention it, and the director mentions it really quick. He's like, I know this technology is from the 80s, but can you improve the picture? So I guess like the technology inside the drone was 80s, but the drone itself was like today. So that really confused me. Like, why didn't it change? Why did it
housing seem like it was?
I thought they were just going to reuse the toy, the sword drone.
Yeah,
well, that wouldn't have worked because that was from like the 60s, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that one wouldn't have worked.
Yeah. Plus, you can't equip weapons on it. So,
but yeah. So apparently they fire a missile. And then,
right.
And
then you get the alert.
Yeah, and
something's breaching.
And then Wanda comes out pissed, and man, that was hot. I'm sorry.
And Drew gets a Woody.
She was looking hot right about then.
She was in her Avengers Endgame outfit, or it looked pretty close to it.
It looked like it, yeah.
And
she had her hair, which I don't like. The dye job on her hair is not very good.
So here's the thing too. That is very reminiscent of Magneto in that scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
just super all controlling
just like I do not give a damn about.
It's literally
you do.
It's literally from the first X-Men where he gets the guns and points them at the cops.
Yeah,
remember?
Yeah. And
after Charles takes oh my gosh, what is his name? Why can I not think of him? Charles like brainwashes the other guy to like choke Magneto, and then Magneto takes the guns and puts them on all the cops. Sabretooth, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, you got that vibe. You're right. There's totally that vibe there, Don. Maybe Luke Skywalker is Magneto.
Yeah.
And Spencer gets his way. Yes.
And it would.
I called Mandalorian. Damn it!
Yeah, you did call Luke Skywalker.
It would make sense. It would make great sense. And if they do it, I hope they don't do McKellen. I hope they do Fassbender.
What? I just don't think they can. They're too close in age. I think John pointed it out. They're both like 40.
Well, no, Fassbender's 40. Elizabeth Olsen is 31. 32. Yeah. Like she was actually born in 89. Like that's like I think they might be using her real birthday.
Yeah, right.
Or Wanda. But yeah, the Sentinel is saying recast. They recast Pietro.
Da-da-da-da.
So she can recast people again for the show.
But yeah, say she just doesn't recast her parents and recast it with McKellen.
Wait,
They
she went
did.
over their
They
parents'
did
name.
talk. They did. It was like Igor
did.
and something else in
Ilsa or
the.
something like that.
Yeah, they do
Yeah.
say that she had two parents. They do talk about that and how they were killed. And then so then they become radicalized. Yeah, and they become radicalized by Hydra or whatever. So that was the guy trying to demonize her. Like,
yeah, right.
Yeah, so we got the footage of her stealing Vision from the sword thing, which it was kind of like a choppy video. I thought it was kind of weird.
It was a choppy video, but I also appreciated it because I felt like that's how a real security camera, like array would work. Like there were no really stylistic shots of her doing all of her things. They were all from like high angles. They didn't see everything. I just like that.
Yeah, I didn't have
It's very Luke moment.
Yeah, it was
very like Grogu watching Luke through the monitors.
Yeah.
I'll leave that there.
Are you saying that they're ripping off of each other?
No,
is that what you're saying, Dom?
Couldn't be. It's not like The Last Jedi or The Rise of Skywalker had a on your left moment. No,
No, if
not
you
like
see
that
it,
at all.
if you see DC do it in about 2 years, then you know they were trying to get ahead of DC.
Oh, they will.
So yeah, we go back
Jenkins
to the
will do it
yeah on your left with a X-wing.
with an X-wing.
Sentinel saying that finally made what was happening make sense. Sword was desecrating Vision's corpse, and anyone react that way. Yes, I actually saw that he was torn apart.
Was he? I didn't catch that.
It looked like he was torn apart to me. I only saw like the chest piece, but there was other pieces everywhere else. Yeah, I saw that too. So I found that interesting as well that they were doing that to his corpse. And if Wanda found out about that, I think that that makes so much more sense than her being like depressed
And just
or whatever,
randomly going out to grab.
she's like
the body.
angry about what they're doing.
I
Which
think
also
that
means
makes a
Hayward
lot of
was lying.
sense. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, if Porg is right and the hexes in his
Sentinel.
office have,
Porg,
yeah. If Deviant Porg's right and those hexagons in his office have something to do with him being the baddie, I can definitely like this. That all makes insane sense. Like I think John's totally on point.
We've also seen multiple Hydra commercials,
Yeah,
as well. And then what was the one this time? I didn't know that. I didn't know that reference.
It was
What is
tapping
that?
into her past with Civil War.
that's where
Her
the
mistake
fight in
with
Civil
Lagos.
War happens.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when she
What?
sucked up all that explosives into the sky and it blew up a whole bunch of people
from
near
like
the building?
That's
Crossbones
what
was about to
in
blow up.
Africa.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
Africa.
Yeah.
So that's why like
Where
clean
they're
up your
hunting
messes.
crossbones.
Like that's what that's the whole thing.
Right,
Is, like,
okay.
clean up your mess
Okay.
with Lagos.
Okay, that makes sense.
Sometimes you make a mess.
I didn't catch
Yeah, you
that.
do.
I was like,
I didn't catch it at
Intense.
first either. I had to look it
I
up.
caught on right away. I'm
I
like,
was kind of hoping at the very end of the commercial where it was like Lagos. I wanted there to be like a little like ding at the bottom, like by Hydra, like those old commercials used to do.
or like even have like the skull and bones for crossbones.
Oh, dude! Or you could have done
Like-
like the Bounty logo, but with Brock Rumlow instead, like with crossbones instead.
Yeah.
Did you notice the Judeo-Christian reference in that commercial though? First was a red liquid being spilt,
Yes.
and then there was a wine being spilt afterward.
That was beer.
Yeah, it was beer.
it was
I
beer.
thought it was wine.
It was beer.
Because the whole
Okay,
joke
never
was
mind.
like, even your husband can use it too.
He
And
had a
then
beer.
he knocks over
It
his
was a beer.
Okay, never mind.
Because
I
you
thought
saw
it was,
the,
I thought it was a wine glass. And I'm like,
And of course, they had to throw in the jab at men there. Even your husband can use it. Like, okay.
never mind. Not a Judeo-Christian reference. Sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't get that. But yeah, good call on that, guys. Because I was just like, what? There's got to be a reference to this. What does this mean? So and then where did we go? What happened? We were talking about the Scarlet Witch scene. She's basically like, "F you, dude. Monica's just like, hey, you like trusted me on some level.
Yeah, that was
like,
weird.
You invited me into your home to like take care of your like to deliver your kids, which seemed to be getting to her a little bit. I felt maybe
it made her ponder for a second. So
yeah,
maybe there's like a bridge there, where on some level there is some sort of trust between her and Monica, and I think that'll going forward that's going to be a thing, because I think that's going to be one of the conduits to kind of open up and try to help Wanda at some point.
I mean, the fact that she gave him a warning, she didn't tell
she didn't kill him.
Pull the trigger.
Yeah, she didn't have them pull the trigger when she was controlling them.
Not Magneto style.
Right. By the way. Right. That was where he would have been like, "You're dead." Like, especially if Cullen Bunn was writing, because his Magneto. But Magneto is an absolute savage in that run.
Yeah, he's just so cool.
So yeah, the Sentinel says she went, this is my fantasy and I'll do what I want to. I don't think she really did that. It was more like, this is my home, like F off. Like I'm going to take care of it. And when they told her that she was like manipulating all of those people, I don't think again, I think that was another example of just like, she's like, no, I'm not. Like, what are you talking about? But then,
I'm out on that one. I get that, but I don't know yet. I'm personally not sure on that one yet.
I think that's like to me, that's what's so like, that's what I like about the show.
Yeah.
It's like, what's like, is she really pulling the strings?
Yeah.
What's going on? Like, is she being manipulated? Like what like, I really, what is her motivation for all of this? Like, really, like, what is happening now? Like, that's kind of like, I'm actually kind of drawn into that. I really want to like know what's going on and figure that out. But then at the same time, at the end where we're talking about, she's like, Vision's like, you can't control me like you do everyone else. And she's
dude,
like,
was great.
Can I? which is the screenshot for our thumb. That's the thumbnail that I use.
Yeah.
Where she's like, can I?
Dude, that was great. I thought for a second they were gonna have a knockdown, drag out power fight. I was like, oh yes, superhero couple fight. Here we go.
Oh, that was such a good scene.
It was because that was it. I really like that scene too because it was so reminiscent of just like disagreements that people have when they're married. People like do get and like obviously these people are superpowered, so they would be like you gotta like they really have to be like disciplined with their emotions because they could do crazy crap to each other. And I liked how they kind of brought it back down and they still tried to were like discussing it. But Wanda was just like, no, like just be happy with what I've given you, kind of.
Yeah.
Which I found was interesting. Yeah, the Sentinel is saying all of this will lead into Doctor Strange and the multiverse. Yeah, that's been confirmed. Feige said that multiple times. So, and now there's rumors that she's showing up in Spider-Man. So,
at this point, it's not even a Spider-Man movie. They should just call it the Marvel team-up movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not like I have like almost no interest because there's so much crazy, insane stuff. It's almost like turning me off. Like
right? Yeah, like too much. It's too much.
It's overload. Yeah.
Yeah, you got too much going on. This isn't going to be good.
Yeah, you gotta know how to distribute your fan service. You can't just splurge all over and expect everybody to be smiling afterward.
So after she goes back into the Hex, what was interesting is that it went from kind of like a almost clear, I guess, color. When she went in, it turned red.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I wonder what that was all about.
So it was almost like she was exerting. Like to me, that was again another like, is she actually in control? Like it's a different color. Now she's turning it red. Like she's maybe exerting more control or something like that. So
I thought she was just reinforcing the barrier there.
I thought she kind of
could have been that too.
That's what I was
reinforcing the barrier, and I also think it's more kind of like a like she's losing more control because it kind of got like more unstable looking. Like it's very like staticky now, and the red is there as opposed to the
Shield's
the
at
clear.
80%.
Yeah.
I will say I was actually kind of surprised that she didn't extend extend it. Be like, these people are pissing me off. I'm taking them over, and they're going to join the show now or whatever. Join the.
That might be later on, but that's.
But I just thought like that was like would be the time. Like these people have come in before. She rewound the beekeeper. Now they're like literally trying to kill her. So I would be like, okay, and then she like because she did mind all of the soldiers, and then she was just like, okay, like you're not in charge. Which Monica knew. Like that, like despite them having all that stuff on there, like she was in charge.
Yeah.
The only way she wouldn't be in charge is if like Hawkeye's like freaking like 3 miles away and he's gonna fire some arrow.
He's like whispering to her.
Yeah, Scarlet Witch doesn't even know that he's there. That's where you might be able to like take her out with like
that was like when he showed up in Thor.
yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Just up in the tower.
Just
a cool scene.
That Thor movie is so underrated. I think that first one.
I think it's really good. I like it.
Yeah. The more I watch it, I think the more it is up on like one of the top tier.
One of the topper ones, higher ones.
Yeah, top tier for sure. Jimmy Pork says, I was surprised that she can go out of it and it continues. I thought she was kind of the center of it.
Did you notice the TV? It said, "Please stand by."
Yes,
while she was out.
No, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I did notice that when she came out. There was the "Please stand by." I did notice that. Yeah, so she just like shut. The connection was kind of shut down, which is all.
Then?
Yeah.
Well, obviously it doesn't because there's people, obviously real people who are in there, right? We know that,
right?
So they're still doing whatever they're doing. She just shut down the signal that's like communicating, right? Because what they're getting is a feed that Wanda is, or someone is casting a feed that you can catch through the CDMR or whatever.
Yeah.
But remember that commercial we saw? Vision is walking through the city and he sees someone putting up the clothes on their clothesline, but the person is like paused. Like they're in the middle of it. But
I don't remember that.
Okay.
When was that?
I believe it. I just don't remember
it's
it.
like the third or fourth.
That's an ad that they ran, like a promo. Is that, okay,
not saying that the ads are legitimate.
Right.
I'm saying that's.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't watched all the ads for it, so I don't know. But yeah, so after she goes back in, Vision is like pissed off. Like the kids are there. Doesn't she has like like the dog? We get the dog scene.
The dog dies. Yeah.
Dog.
In another nod to the
dog.
Tom King series.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're playing with the dog. The dog goes missing, and then Agnes finds the dog dead.
Yeah.
Or that's what she says.
Yeah, that's suspect.
Mm-hmm. She says she finds the dog dead. They don't show the dead dog.
I feel like it is dead, but I don't feel like it just randomly died from eating the leaves.
Yeah,
like it can't. Dogs can die from that, but I feel like the dog was literally with them when the missile blew up a second ago. Like that probably took it out. Show me a missile-proof dog.
Yeah,
really,
or Agnes did something with the dog.
Either or. She blew it up. She was the one who shot the missile.
And then interestingly enough, once the dog's done, they get someone else who comes into their life.
The mailman.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we did get that scene with the mailman.
That was pretty creepy too.
Because he was just like, your mom will be able to find
it's like, I'm sure he because like the dog runs away and the boys are looking for him, and then the postman goes, "Oh, I'm sure your mom won't let him get far." And then kind of just like stops right there, like really creepy demeanor change.
Was that the same mailman from the third episode?
Second episode. Remember he says, "Don't shoot me, I'm just the messenger."
Right. Yeah. He's obviously aware of what's happening too.
Kinda.
I definitely think he's aware of what's going on.
I feel like most of the people in the town are. Like Herb and Agnes were about to tell Vision what was going on. The other week when the kids were born.
Norm didn't though until he was snapped out of it. He was still playing the role.
That's true. He was still really deep into it.
Right. So maybe some people do and some people don't.
Interesting.
Do you think Porgy is talking about Ralph? Who's Ralph?
That's the unknown.
That's the husband.
That's
Agnes's husband. No, it's Agnes's husband who she keeps making all the jokes about how like he won't have sex with her. Or like he'd only remember
No.
our anniversary if it was on a beer.
Oh yeah, and people are thinking that Ralph is Mephisto. I think that's a theory.
That's an interesting one. I haven't heard that.
Arizel is saying that Pietro is Mephisto.
I believe that one. That's my current running theory.
That was the rumor, like back when he was cast.
Yeah.
Even they said he was going to show up on the show. Demi Pork says, for me, just a theory. Someone is channeling and amplifying her powers.
I don't know about amplify. See, I don't know about that because she is already powerful. I think somebody's manipulating her, but not like her powers. Like they're messing with her head. Like Mephisto's probably screwing with her, or the director.
Right, or this is like a deep cut here, which probably it's. I'm just throwing this out. We know that this is going to lead into Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange's biggest villain, who he was able to somewhat defeat, I guess, with the time stone, or at least keep him at bay from invading Earth. But is that time loop? Is that bargain still in play now that we think that things have changed with Endgame?
With all, did Dormammu get snapped?
Yeah. So is Dormammu potentially making a play through Wanda?
Dormammu, I don't think is caught in the loop anymore because wasn't that the? If I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong.
He's not in the loop. He makes a bargain with Doctor Strange to get out of the loop,
and then he leaves.
So he will leave. What I'm saying is that with Thanos doing his thing.
Oh, I'm saying it's pretty. Like I could believe it's Dormammu. I was just double checking that he was out of the loop because that's how I was pretty sure it ended in Doctor Strange.
At the end of Doctor Strange, he makes a bargain with Doctor Strange to get out of the time loop, and he won't invade or whatever. But he says like, "I'm going to get you."
Yeah,
that's what.
Of course, the classic villain.
Yeah,
I'll be there.
So we're a little over an hour now. Let's go. I think we've pretty much covered all of the episode. I think gone through it.
Yeah, we pretty much except for the Evans. I mean, we touched on Evan Peters, but that's just the end of it.
Yeah, and so I mean, there's just like who is like obviously they're saying that he's Pietro. He's saying that he's Pietro. We don't really know. She thinks that he is. Yeah, let's talk about it, Don.
Okay, so here's the discussion.
Time to shine.
Now. Here's the discussion. So when that dog scene happens, Agnes kind of wants Wanda to bring the dog back.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, kids that was a weird moment.
Wanda to bring the dog back from the dead.
The kids I can get.
She can't do it.
The kids I can definitely get.
So it sets up a rule of she can't bring dead, which also like.
Or she won't do it.
See, that's I caught it as like I won't do it. Like I can't do that. Like she's trying to, like she knows she can, but if she does, it'll break down what's happening with Vision. Because that's like right after we start getting the lines from the kids, like fix Daddy, like fix what's wrong.
Yeah, they
with
say
him.
fix. They say to fix Dad too. Yeah,
so we all like Wanda assumes they're talking about the dead body when in reality the kids are talking about the fact that Dad needed a break and was sad and like went to the office on a Saturday.
Yeah. So
and she tried to play it off that it was a Monday, and they were like, "No,
it's like no."
Yeah.
So it brought into my question. It brought into my mind questions of like, is Vision actually alive? And then, does Wanda actually have the ability to bring back life, or is that her limitation? She can't do life.
Ooh,
that's why
that's
Pietro is never brought back as Pietro. It's a recast, and it's pulling from the multiverse to bring that Pietro into her reality. So,
but what about the kids?
Because she says her brother is very far away, instead of saying that her brother is
dead.
Well, I thought that was more for the kids.
Yeah.
Like there's as much as death is a part of the MCU, I still think we all forget that in like the real world, you got to be really like careful with how you approach death with kids. Otherwise, it can mess them up.
Yeah, but I took it as like she has to pull Pietro from a very multiverse like area.
No, I mean
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right.
Very far away.
I never thought about it at that angle.
Yeah.
But then that would imply she knows about the multiverse, which she
that
might.
would yeah, exactly. Now
So,
your brain
I like
starts
that.
working. Like,
Yeah, I
holy
like
cow.
that.
She's breaking down reality to find.
Well,
remember the
She would know about it. She fought Thanos,
Yeah.
and Thanos came from an alternate reality.
Well, remember in
That's
Timeline,
true.
Spider-Man,
whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Spider-Man Into the Multiverse, whatever. Kingpin is pulling a family from another reality.
Oh, into the Spider-Verse?
Into the Spider-Verse, yeah. So what if Wanda's just
Especially, I mean,
taking that storyline? Just
I can definitely see it. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Deviant Porg says Ralph is dead and Agnes wants him back.
Ooh, that might
So
be.
remember-
That could be.
There was a Nicholas Scratch reference earlier on, and Nicholas Scratch is Agnes is Agatha Harkness's son.
Oh, that's right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Scratch.
It's also a name for Mephisto. So
He's everywhere. He's all of them. If that really is Nicholas Scratch, they got to give him like the really gaudy costume.
Deviant Porg thinks that the kids brought Pietro because of what she says. He's very far away to make their mom happy.
Ooh. Well, that could work if they're going with the like Mephisto is influencing them, like in the comics, how they were kind of constructed from Mephisto's energy too. That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, pieces of his soul.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
That would be cool. I like that, Porg. I didn't actually think about that. I definitely don't think that Pietro was summoned by Wanda, or at least appeared at that moment because of Wanda.
No, she made that. I thought that was pretty crystal clear. She's like, "This isn't me. I'm not doing this."
Like, I don't know, and I know you won't believe me, Vision.
And
He's
she
like,
seemed shocked. She seemed legitimately shocked when she opened the door. But she also recognized him as Pietro.
Yeah,
even though he looks completely different. Which
well,
Darcy,
she did ask. She did. She was like, Pietro? And then he's like, yeah, you don't remember your brother? Or however he was sounding.
Yeah. But they make it clear that he's been recast too with Darcy.
Yeah, but why would she say Pietro in the show?
Silver hair. How many people how many people even in the MCU have silver hair?
Silver Sable, but she's not even.
She's not even in the MCU yet.
Let's look through the Rolodex here. There's freaking silver hair.
Let's open up our Marvel encyclopedia, circa 1975 to 1976.
GW Bridge.
Deviant Pork says, and now in the comics in Shang-Chi, there's a Baron Harkness who's linked to Dormammu. I don't know if there's a link, but it's in a very recent series.
Yeah, then it might.
I think the Dormammu. I'll be honest. I think my theory about Dormammu is a huge stretch. I don't think they're going to bring him back just yet,
unless it's like some sort of like team up with Mephisto, and that's why we get Doctor Strange. But that seems like so much for how many episodes we got left? We've got like 5,
three, right?
3 or 4 now. Yeah.
Are there 8 or 9? I can't remember.
I think 9.
There's 9, so 4 left.
This was a longer episode too, by the way.
Was it? I really need
Marvel.
I really need you to lock down your time.
The Sentinel is saying, did anyone else notice that outside the bubble she has her accent back, but when she goes back, she has.
I noticed that too.
I did too. And right before we got on stream, my dad was introducing my mom to the series, and I was like watching the beginning of the first episode. Her accent goes like she has her accent when it's just her and Vision, and then like when the mom from that 70s show and Vision's boss show up, it goes to American. So there's something there. I don't know if it's her just dropping it. It feels a little too intentional.
That's part of all of them like trying to fit in. I felt too.
Yeah, that's what I keep trying to sort of think.
Stephen Ernest says, and in good drama, the villain should be hinted at in advance. Well, there's lots of hints.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of misdirection. I think a lot of people are like, it's Wanda.
It's
after this episode, it's hard to really think that it's Wanda, though.
Well, it's so funny that you just said misdirection, John, because I was literally about to say, You know who we haven't seen in a while? Dottie. And I feel like that
Yes.
maybe that was a bit of misdirection.
Yeah, like 2
That she was-
episodes though.
That she's
Like-
played,
like the
she plays
twi-
a big role, or what?
No, I think like the twist, if you could call it that, is that Dottie is not Mephisto or any sort of like bigger villain. She really was just like that 1950s horrible person. Like that, like it's a subversion of what everybody's expecting.
We haven't seen Herb either, though.
Herb? We've seen Herb hang out.
We haven't seen him in. We didn't
Oh,
see
in
him
a while.
last
In a
episode
while.
or
No,
this
in
episode.
a
Yeah,
while,
yeah.
we haven't seen him. I'm just saying that
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the emphasis that was placed on Dottie sort of being evil in the first couple episodes, it's interesting that we haven't seen her at all.
She only really had that role in the episode where Scarlet Witch, or which she's not even called Scarlet Witch.
Right.
They made that clear.
They made that clear in
Where-
this episode,
Yeah.
which was weird to me.
Where Wanda is in the Zatanna outfit.
Oh, the
That was That's like the only episode Dottie's really in, right?
Wait,
I
okay,
feel like.
so that episode, the same one as the one where Jimmy Woo gets through to her on the radio?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
if it is, then yeah, it's only that one episode where she has like
Yeah.
a big role, and then I think she might appear
Yeah,
like,
the
like
next
in a
episode.
background or something, or
Right,
like
yeah.
incidentally, but yeah, no, nothing big since that episode.
Yeah, next
Right.
episode she shows up when Wanda shuts off all the lights in the neighborhood, and she goes up to her husband.
Oh, yeah.
funny guy with a
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get the
Uh,
that, yeah, you
Thank
get that.
God.
He looked fat, and he was like,
That was funny. That was funny.
Thank God. Yeah, that was a good line. I also liked that character in particular, mustache guy Joe, is just a fun character. Like the joke from the very first episode where the boss was talking about like the horrible dinner he had at his house, and he's like, the food was awful, and he's like, my wife made a 5-course meal, and he's like, and then the entertainment was lacking, like a string quartet. And he's like, and of course, your flirtation with beatnikism. And he's like, I wore a turtleneck. And then he just like leaves the office because he got fired.
Yeah. All right, let's go around and give a rating. We'll start with you, Spencer.
All right. I think I would definitely solidly land this episode at an 8. There are definitely some inconsistencies, but we're definitely ramping up into the real meat of everything, and we're getting more exposition. And luckily, nothing has required us. There's been no point of exposition where it's just like, are you serious? Like that makes zero sense. Like we've so far avoided any major logic holes. There are some, but nothing like insanely major. So that's pretty impressive to me. So I'll definitely grab it an 8, with my favorite scenes being the fight between Wanda and Vision when they're like in the air and like at each other's throats, and the Norm scene, because I think that guy can act. Any actor who can like switch between emotions and not carry the previous one into the new one, like that gets a round of applause from me.
Probably the biggest plot hole is the whole sword.
Right. Yeah,
Existing.
the sword existing and having Vision's body is definitely the weirdest one.
Yeah. All right, Don. What do you got?
Yeah, I'll give it an 8 as well. It's way better than the Mandalorian in terms of like storytelling and stuff. They do need to.
Like, yeah, you're
Really?
right. Like, if this was the Mandalorian, we would have gotten like the very beginning of exposition, and then like Agnes would have come
And
over to the
side
house.
quest.
Yeah, she would have been like, "Hey, I heard you need a doghouse. Do you think you could come help me with whatever?" And there's your episode.
Yeah, the best thing about this is it's not playing out like a video game. It's playing out like an actual telling
Like
of a
story, yeah.
an unfolding of a mystery that and the only negative points that I have on it is, even though there are stakes being put forward, it's not like a deep stake of like people are
There's
going
no
to die.
imminent danger to anybody right now.
Yeah. Everybody's brainwashed, yes, but they're not. Their lives are not in an immediate danger.
Right, like
There's
the
just
whole
an
the whole
immediate,
thing. It's like an immediate mystery, because like the whole thing is Sword is investigating it because it's weird, not
Yeah.
necessarily because anything is happening. So like we know that the people inside are in danger, but then it's kind of like, if nothing is happening outside, why are you so ready to nuke her? Like let's take this like one step at a time.
Yeah, it is kidnapping on a massive scale. But
Absolutely.
that's
It's more than just kidnapping. She's taking away their free will.
Okay, imprisonment as well. Okay.
Imprisonment. Oh yeah, she's got a list of felonies at this point. Thunderbolt
Yeah.
number 1. Thunderbolt number 1.
But she's not killing them. So
You don't. We got 4 episodes. She got pretty savage at the sword facility.
The dog died.
She killed a dog, and by the law of Wick, that means straight to jail.
Did she?
And we don't. Well, the dog died in the
in the world that she has complete control over. So.
That's like manslaughter.
We don't. We also don't know it. We still don't. Like, obviously, the beekeeper guy did not go. Is still there somehow.
Where is he? Wasn't it you, Don? It was you or John who said last week that maybe the beekeeper's soul was used to make the kids, and I still think that's pretty interesting.
I think I said that.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty interesting theory. I would like to see that.
The beekeeper is the mailman. No,
I cannot tell. I cannot tell just because, like, the actor in the beekeeper suit, you just can't see his face.
Yeah.
Because I do keep doing that, Don. I do keep looking for, like, is that somebody? Is that a sword agent? Is that yada yada? So complicated.
Blake St. Clair is saying sword stands for sentient weapons instead of worlds like the comics for a very specific reason. I think they mentioned AI and robots. They had vision. What else did they have? Ultron, maybe MODOK.
Fantastic Four. Apparently, I heard that's the running theory.
With the astronauts, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've heard too, that they disappeared, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we had some astronauts, we lost them in an accident or something. Like, it's a very brief. It's like when they're walking through the facility the first time.
Yeah. Drew Taylor. What's your score?
I'm going with the guys and another 8. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good, and it's like I said, for me, being a horror fan, I'm getting more of that sort of like creep show kind of vibe to it now, where it's starting to get into the really like disturbing stuff, and I'm digging that.
We need more of it. I'm still really just like upset that In the Multiverse of Madness won't be a horror movie.
Yes, I guess that's what they that's what they got rid of Scott Derrickson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's still an executive producer or whatever on it, though.
Because they're probably building off of his stuff.
You'll still see his footprint in it.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, if I could get more of that vibe, like kind of like like I did like from New Mutants, something like that. It was cool because I like how there was a lot of the horror aspect for that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I like feeling that in this show, but I just I need a little more of that, man.
I'm gonna give this a 6, so I'm on the low end there.
John Trent, harshest
chill. No.
I mean, I still think that I think that stuff is supposed to be funny with some of the lines, and there was some funny stuff. I talked about that, but I think some of the humor doesn't hit. The laugh track is annoys me, but I do like the mystery that's going on. I like that there's so many different things that could be happening, could be going on, where like the sword people have like just like, who are these people?
Yeah, right.
Where did they come from? Why is this guy like a trigger happy lunatic? So especially when you're dealing with someone who used to be like a trusted ally. So like there's just a lot of interesting questions which do intrigue me. And I'm still on board for. And I will say my wife, I think she didn't tell me this, but she said that she described this episode as interesting, which is probably like the biggest compliment she's given the show. And she actually seems interested in watching it. So,
okay.
So that's a good. And she's usually not big on the superhero stuff. So,
yeah.
That's high praise from her.
I mean, my girlfriend was actually watching it.
Yeah.
So that's actually.
I mean, this has turned out to be an actually just really pretty good show. It's not. It doesn't. It definitely. I was curious about it at first. Like, okay, is it going to go somewhere? And yeah, it finally went places because
I still think
very
like
slow percolation, like I said before.
I still think you don't even need to watch the first 3 episodes.
Yeah,
personally, like they're just you don't need to. You can
the fourth one is where they have the sword backstory, right?
Yeah, the fourth one is where you get Monica Rambeau. You just start there, and you don't need to watch the first 3 episodes if you don't want to. So, but yeah, so I mean, I said that before. The 4th episode should have been the first one, and so this does feel like a episode 2. Maybe that's a little bit why I'm kind of down on it as well, because we were episode 5, and it feels like a second episode 2. I saw Father Christopher Miller gave his rating in the chat. He said 8.5. Nice. If anyone else wants to give their ratings, they can as well.
Please
do,
yeah.
See what you guys think. Always about that. The Sentinel says Monica Rambeau is so annoying. I
actually like her.
No,
yeah,
she's really. I like her.
Yeah, I find her character.
Her stealing the gun from the Asian man is kind of pissing me off a little bit, but that's.
That's just bad training on Jimmy's part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a little.
That's because
just like, hey, you could have just been like, hey, can I borrow your gun? And then he'd been like, okay, what for? And then she's like, yeah, I want to shoot that. I want to test the theory that I got about my clothes.
But that's not cinematic.
Like, okay. Yeah, we Filipinos don't like people putting their hands on.
Yeah, don't steal an Asian man's gun. God dang.
Dude, don't steal a federal officer's gun in the first place.
Alexander Vidakovich, who has been praising the show from the beginning, gives it a 9 out of 10.
Of course.
A little smiley face. Deviant Porg is an 8 out of 10.
Good rating from Porg.
So 8 out, on our scale, or at least the scale that I usually use, 8 is great. It is great.
I think it's great to me more because this opens up the X-Men. And anything with the X-Men, my pants are off already. So
Don and the X-Men, me and Starfighters. That's where you get your skewed data.
I want X-Men too because I'm an X-Men fan.
I think everybody wants them at this point. Just give it to us. We're waiting.
The X-Men are really, to me, aside from Spider-Man, they are like the number 1 property that Marvel has. Maybe I'm biased here. I'll say they're number 1 ahead of Spider-Man personally.
I don't know if I would say X-Men in general, but Wolverine probably. Wolverine is like stupid popular to everybody.
Wolverine from the movies. Yeah. I think Wolverine has blown up, especially with the movies and then they obviously with the comics. But I don't know. I just feel like the X-Men, like I don't know. I love Magneto. So and I don't know. I just find he's like Vegeta to me. So
I think more recently with the Cyclops was right, and then Magneto.
I like Cyclops was right.
All the modern, not even modern, just like everybody who looked at the old stories and were like, wow, these were really underappreciated characters.
One of my favorite Magneto panels is from Civil War II, where Magneto is talking to Carol Danvers and is like, yo, it is an awful idea to start just locking people up based on what you think they're going to do. And he goes, the last time that happened, it kind of resulted in genocide, talking about the death camps in World War II. And Carol Danvers literally replies, oh, I forgot. You're one of those guys who compares everything to Nazis on the internet. And it's just like, wow, Marvel, you really pulled that.
Bendis wrote that?
I don't know if it was Bendis, but I know it's a panel.
Bendis was writing Civil War II, wasn't he? He was the one who was writing Civil War II.
I don't know if it was during the specific book or if it was
might have been
a tie-in.
One of the one shots. Like, wow. Pull that up.
I'm pulling it up right now.
Pull that up.
It wasn't Bendis. It was actually Dan Slott.
Of course it was.
Okay.
I don't
know. I thought Bendis was. I'm pretty sure Bendis wrote Civil War II.
He did.
Deviant Pork says, and Rambo with the sword. Dude, you're spelling Rambo wrong. When I'm seeing Rambo spelled that way, I'm like, John Rambo. What? John Rambo was in this show? Where's my red headband?
Oh man, I would watch that.
Team Red Headband right here.
Team Red Headband.
Team Red Headband. So that's an inside
for Rambo. I'm definitely on that team.
Spencer and I were discussing the Mortal Kombat images and the one of Liu Kang, and I was just like, who is this? Is this Liu Kang? I can't tell. And Spencer was like, yeah, that's Liu Kang. I was like, where's his red headband?
And then we were talking. I was like, he looks okay without it. And John was like, no, I'm team red headband. Damn it.
Yeah. But yeah, Deviant Pork says Rambo with the sword shirt isn't exactly the Fantastic Four. Yeah, there was definitely some Fantastic Four on that suit they gave her. It looked very, very Fantastic Four-ish, which kind of is like another indication that, yeah, maybe the Fantastic Four were working with Sword and they went up into space and disappeared. So what is that art is?
So, Captain, I'm returning the drones you keep sending to spy on us, because Danvers was sending drones over to, I think it was Utopia at the time, or wherever they are at this point. They might actually even be in limbo. But it's really just you were keeping an eye on, Magneto, the whole mutant supremacist terrorist thing, you know? Am I the subject of one of the Inhumans' visions? More of a person of interest. We're broadening our scope. Yes, this is how it starts. Next come the detention camps. Right. I forgot. You're that guy online who compares everything to Hitler. Like,
oh my gosh.
You're saying that to a literal survivor of the Holocaust.
Wow.
Jeez. Wow.
And if you want to know what makes this more
what does he
disappointing...
What does he say here?
He just says, like, I'm disappointed in Aurora because she's a mutant and she's on Alpha Flight.
Our oppressors?
Huh?
Really?
But, like...
no, that's Magneto saying that.
That's Magneto saying that, yeah. Because, I mean, Carol Danvers is literally spying on mutants illegally.
Yeah, she's literally oppressing him right there. Like,
yeah,
she's admitting it. She's admitting that he's that makes sense.
Like, and him specifically, a person of interest. But what makes this disappointing and kind of should clue everybody in, if they haven't already been clued in already, to what it kind of goes in the Marvel's writer room, this wasn't one of your usual suspects. This was not Slott. This wasn't Bendis. This wasn't Thompson. This was Christos Gage, who is a pretty decent writer. So I don't know where Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. He pulled Superior Spider-Man out of the trash fire that Dan Slott had created. So I don't know what's going on
the
here.
Superior Spider-Man stuff is pretty good in the beginning, and then it quickly goes
goes off, and then they
garbage.
had to they just left Slott to stay on the main book, and then they gave Gage Superior, and he saved it.
I think the first 5 issues are pretty good, and then it goes off the rails.
Oh yeah, it goes super off the rails.
Yeah, and he's just he does the spy bots and it's just
the die is cast.
All right. Thank you all for joining us. We do this every Fridays. I think we have 4 more to go, and then we'll be doing Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which will be coming in March, I believe. I think it's in March.
Should be.
So we'll be doing that as well. Hopefully it'll again be on Fridays. So we'll be able to keep our time slot 7 p.m. So yeah, thank you all for joining us. We do this again, like I said, every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. We usually go for about an hour. We went for an hour and a half tonight. We had a lot to talk about because this was a little bit longer episode, I think.
42 minutes.
According to Don,
I did look at so it's not really 42 because if you get to when they actually get to the credits,
so
it's literally
it's like 10 minutes.
It's literally 10 minutes of credits. It's insane how long the credits are. But then we also do our Wednesday night stream at 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be joined by Gary Beekler of Nerdrotic this week. So next week. So looking forward to that. Should be a really fun stream, and I'm sure we'll have lots of stuff to talk about. I'm sure there'll be more Star Wars drama because those people just can't
there always
shut
is.
Up. And then maybe we'll all have some more. There'll be some more stuff to talk about. But if you haven't, check out the YouTube channel. We got a bunch of stuff up this week. I actually did an extra video yesterday, so you got 2 yesterday. Maybe thinking that I might try and do 2 a day now. So we'll see how that goes. I know I only got 1 up today. I was gonna do the Seth Rogen one. I just ran out of time so look for that stuff. A lot of stuff happening. I know Spencer's working on his anime list that Roof Korean has been patiently waiting for. So
it's
got a lot of stuff going
right now.
I'm rambling now, so y'all have a great weekend, and we will see you on Wednesday.
Later. Take it easy.